Hey there, everyone. So, there's a guy back there with a communist flag. Like, he has a communist flag back there, a flag from the Soviet Union or something like that. And I want to see if he's going to do an interview with me. Let's see what happens. That's him, right there. What's up, bro?
How's it going?
Going good, man. So are you a communist?
I am a communist.
You're a proud communist.
What's that?
You're a proud communist.
I'm a proud communist.
Where are you from, man?
Originally I'm from Oregon, but I've been here about 15 years.
So I had a real question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
You know how Republicans always say all Democrats are communists? What do you say about that?
Republicans sit down with them?
Republicans and the right wing are always saying that all Democrats are communists and socialists and Marxists. What do you think about that?
I would honestly say that the right wing is closer to communist ideals because they have a more understanding of the plight of the working class.
That's interesting.
While Democrats are corporatists by trade. They're very much invested in overseas, in banks, and large funding. And I think the only difference is who their perception of us and them are, who's the ones that's actually doing the exploiting.
That's interesting, you know.
And both of them, to be clear, both of them are doing the exploiting. The problem is that we don't have this class consciousness to understand that no matter which side you go with, you can vote someone in who's a liberal, you can vote someone in who's a Republican. They're still going to be looking out for their own class interests. That the same thing? Not ours.
You know, that is an interesting perspective. I'm going to be honest, I've never heard somebody say that. You know, I've never heard somebody say that the Republicans of today, which are as far right-wing as can be today, I've never heard somebody say that Republicans of today are more like communists than Democrats are. That's actually...
They're closer. They have a better understanding of class antagonisms that are going on. They're just a little confused about where the class antagonisms are coming from.
Wow. Because, you know, everything I hear from Republicans and the right wing and the far right and et cetera, Trump, whatever, everything I hear from them is Democrats are all communists, Democrats are all socialists, Democrats are all Marxists. And that's why if you actually follow like all the right-wing media and all the right-wing pundits and podcasters and et cetera, they're always screaming about Democrats and screaming fear of Democrats and all the right-wing evangelicals, etc. Screaming fear of Democrats, saying, I don't want to be Democrat because I don't want, screaming fear of Democrats because I don't want to be communist and socialist. I don't want our country to be communist, socialist, Marxist. And honestly, to me, it comes from a big place of ignorance. Like, I'll never understand because most Democrats are not even close to communists.
No, and a lot of times that criticism is leveled towards
Thank you.
Like social democrats, people like Mamdani who claim these socialist ideals.
And they're calling him, he's not even communist himself.
No, they're class collaborators.
No, exactly. They're social democrats.
Yep, and they're functioning under capitalism. Anybody that's functioning under capitalism is not going to affect any real change whatsoever. I mean, Mamdani ran on transitional demands like
exactly. I agree. I agree.
Free buses, free healthcare. What else?
And I mean, the best
nothing of that has occurred.
And the best you can say is Mamdani's a democratic socialist, but that's a
stretch. He's a corporatist at his heart. And I mean, there are very clear ways that he could have made his platform effective. By expropriating the billionaires, by holding the billionaires accountable for how much they've exploited the people of New York.
Wow.
He did none of that. Absolutely none of that. And he's left holding the bag.
He didn't mobilize his base. The hundreds of thousands of supporters who rallied for his campaign. If he really was serious about implementing even the smallest of the measures that he promised, such as free bus rides.
Wow.
He would have said, we need to raise this amount of taxes, and if you're happy, mobilize his base to employ class struggle methods, get the unions out, stop work, strike and broaden the strike.
For me personally, I'm an independent, but I lean center left. So I consider myself a social democrat, but I'm independent, but I consider myself a social democrat. I lean center left, but not like all the way left. So tell me, what would your view, like if you had your way, what would your view for the country be? As a communist, if you wanted to make this a communist, what would your view for the country be? What would your view for the country be?
Well, this kind of goes to what you were just saying about the criticism of Democrats as being communist, and the difference there between having socialist ideals and actually being Marxist is the idea of the dictatorship of the proletariat, which means it's the control of the majority over the minority. Right now we have the control of the minority over the majority. There's a dictatorship of the ruling class over everybody else. And through revolution, that paradigm needs to be shifted. So we have a dictatorship of the proletariat, of the working class, representative of the people for the people, to then affect the change that is in our best interests. And people in office, in power, are there just to do the bidding of the working class. That's the difference. That's the important part, where it's not just people in office that get together and decide on laws that are beneficial to them or the companies that they get lobbied to, but are actually just doing the bidding of the working class.
Because from what I understand, like the structural philosophy of communism is you take from the rich and give to the poor, and you make everybody at an equal status. Is that correct? For example, there's a billionaire and there's a poor person. You're going to take from the billionaire, give to the poor person, and that way the poor person and the billionaire are now equal in financial status, if you will.
It's a process. There's going to be a transition. It doesn't happen overnight. That would be kind of an anarchist way of looking at it. It starts with nationalizing banks, seizing the billionaires' assets, so that we can fund. That's a beginning. But immediately after a revolution, there's still going to be class. There's still going to be a need for money. That doesn't all happen immediately. If you're curious about how that transition would work, Trotsky wrote a great piece called The Transitional Program that kind of answers how this can be achieved going through stages, and you can't really skip stages. You have to do it methodically and scientifically. And one of those steps is to expropriate the billionaires, to seize their assets. And yes, the final highest form of communism is a classless society, but that's not what happens immediately. That's not what happens overnight. It can take years, generations.
Is that what Stalin did, or Stalin, or?
No, Stalin. We are not Stalinists, to be clear. We don't stand with Russia. We don't stand with Mao. We're not Maoists or Stalinists.
Or Castro, or people like that?
The Cuban Revolution was a very successful revolution. We do support the Cuban Revolution. We're Bolsheviks. We're revolutionaries.
I see.
Stalin was an opportunist. He lost complete faith in the working class of Russia, and he kind of bounced around from idea to idea. And when it became clear that the global socialist revolution wasn't going to take shape, he sort of fell back on the idea of socialism in the country, turned inwards, and kept the bureaucracy of Russia intact, but didn't move it any forward. It was a revolution of trade. If you want to know more about,
I'm guessing that you don't vote at all.
We do. Yeah.
So, like, when you vote, which party do you typically vote for?
Oh, I don't really vote for the two-party system.
I see.
We vote within our party on our vote.
I see. Okay.
If you're interested in hearing more about us, I'd be happy to sell you a paper at $5. You can get a lot of information. Especially in the back, there's some. These are our transitional demands, our program for revolution. Stuff that is very simple,
Interesting stuff.
Quality of jobs, healthcare, lower working hours per week, very simple things that sound, utopian, but can be clearly accomplished by expropriating the billionaires. If you want, they're $5. You could learn a lot from just a paper, and a lot of stuff isn't covered in mainstream media.
Wow.
So I'd be happy to sell you a paper if you want to learn more. I've also got some pamphlets if you're curious about.
Are they free?
The pamphlets are between like $2 and $5. The papers are $5. This is our theoretical journal. That's $8. That's there's a lot of great stuff in it if you're interested in the theory of it.
Because you know what's funny? It's very rare. Because like I told you at the beginning, the right screams about all Democrats being communists, which is a lie. But I wanted to introduce you, who is an actual communist. Like, it's very rare that I meet someone who's actually considers himself a communist. So that's actually pretty rare. It's like they'll lie and say Bernie is a communist, Bernie Sanders is a communist, Mondami is a communist, et cetera, et cetera. The Democrats are communists, Elizabeth Warren's a communist.
And communists will tell you exactly how they're not communists.
Yeah.
I will tell you they are not communists.
And it's the argument that I constantly make, like real communists are very, very, very rare in society. I'm not one, but this guy's one, and it's pretty cool to interview him, I appreciate the interview, man.
Yeah, no problem. You interested in any material?
I'll take something that's free, honestly.
Here. This is a flyer. We have a comrade in Pakistan that is imprisoned, and Genocide Watch is on it. Amnesty International is paying attention to it. So we're asking people to support him, write in, and help us get our comrade free from prison in Pakistan. He's only in prison for his beliefs and nothing else. So that's some information on him. I think that's the only free material I have left. Yep, that's what I got.
So you denounced both the Democrat and the Republican Party fully?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. And you denounced Mondami and all of them, Warren, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, unless they were going to, actually follow through with their ideas of, taking.
Oh, I was just going to go home and
imposing a salary cap.
Yeah, it's all right. I just had the guy with the
enact their plans, but
yeah, that's just not a reality in America today.
Collaborationists.
Yeah, that's just not a reality in America today. Actually taking money from billionaires, like they'll talk about taxing billionaires, but that's very different. But in regards to actually seizing their money, that's just not a reality. But nice to meet you, man.
What's your name?
Javier.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. You take care.
Yeah, you too.
So that was interesting. Today I interviewed an actual. That was interesting. So today I interviewed an actual guy who was a communist, like a real communist. Not all. And just to be clear, straight from the horse's mouth, Democrats are not communist. Democrats, Mondami, Warren, Bernie Sanders, they are not communists. And when I hear Republicans and conservatives and evangelicals literally lie, and say that the Democratic Party is a party that's fallen into communism and Marxism and socialism, it's just not true. It's just not true. And when you actually meet a real person who is a communist, who actually believes in seizing money from billionaires, you're going to find out how much of a lie all that rhetoric it really is. Thank you for watching, folks. This is Javier here, tuning out.